Hello world, would you risk treason to win an argument on the internet? I'm guessing not, but there's one community where people often will. Just last week, classified military documents detailing the specifications of Chinese anti-tank ammunition were leaked on War Thunder's forums by a player who just wanted to win an argument. Now, for the uninitiated, War Thunder is an MMO military game dedicated to aviation, armoured vehicles and naval craft. I used to play it a few years ago, and way back when tutorial videos were my thing, I made a video on how to make a DIY head tracker for the game using a PlayStation Eye camera and a floppy disk, linked below if you're interested. I wouldn't go so far as to call War Thunder a simulator, but the devs do put a lot of effort into making the game as realistic as possible, giving vehicles and weapons realistic stats to make them at least resemble the real thing, whilst at the same time abstracting away enough complexity so you don't need to use half the keys on your keyboard to use the vehicles. Because of the level of detail in the game, War Thunder tends to attract a lot of people who are, shall we say, quite passionate about military hardware, and in War Thunder's forums you'll find discussion on every minute detail surrounding military vehicles you could possibly imagine, with people complaining about the smallest of technical inaccuracies within the game, and fair enough if that's what you're into. But this is where problems crop up. As I'm sure everyone who spent more than 5 minutes on Twitter knows, internet arguments tend to get quite heated, and in the War Thunder community, this can on occasion lead to players leaking classified military documents just to prove they're right about some small technical detail. The first example of this was in 2019, when a player who just so happened to be a former British Army tank commander leaked classified specifications of the UK's Challenger 2 tank, which is still in service by the way, just to prove that the devs didn't model it correctly in game. Now, I'm not going to show the leaked document, and to be honest, I didn't even bother searching for it because even possessing it in the UK is very illegal. But it says that in an attempt to sneak under the radar, the player who leaked the schematics crossed out the restricted stamp on the document and replaced it with an unclassified sticker he found on Google Images. Now obviously this fooled no one, not least the UK's Ministry of Defence, who reminded everyone that those possessing the documents face up to 14 years in prison under the Official Secrets Act, but I don't think anyone was ever charged. Then, just a few months after that incident, a French soldier risked treason by leaking details about France's main battle tank, the Leclerc, apparently because he wasn't happy that the rotation speed of the turret in-game was ever so slightly inaccurate. And now, for the third time, a user has leaked classified information in an attempt just to win an argument. This time it was the turn of a Chinese soldier, who I imagine lost some social credit points when he leaked details about the Chinese anti-tank ammunition DTC-10-125. The user posted an image of what looks to be the tungsten penetrator alongside a spec sheet. It's all in Chinese of course, but translated copies appeared on Reddit almost instantly. And I'm not too keen on being put on a list, so if you're after the unblurred version, you're gonna have to do a Googles. But if you're not a tank enthusiast, it'll probably mean nothing to you anyway. So none of these leaks detail futuristic weapons like lasers or railguns, but rather small details of already known about military hardware, so I don't imagine intelligence agencies are salivating at these leaks, but it is always useful to know the capabilities of your opponent's weaponry. All this leaking puts the War Thunder devs in a strange situation, as they've chosen not to let leaks of classified information influence game development, because that would encourage more leaks, which would quite easily get the devs on the wrong side of governments. A pretty bad business move, especially when it comes to China, as it really doesn't take much to get a game banned there. I mean, just check out the Wikipedia page for banned games in China. Animal Crossing of all things was banned because a small handful of players held virtual protests during the Corona lockdown. And Battlefield 4 was banned because the bad guy was Chinese. So encouraging people to leak top secret military documents I imagine would quite easily top this list. Not letting these leaks influence the game puts the devs in an awkward position in that they know the game mechanics are technically inaccurate, but they just can't do anything about it. And I imagine the leakers are aware they have absolutely zero chance of changing the game, and if anything that makes things slightly worse, as they're literally only risking treason in order to win an argument and prove a point. Welcome to the internet, I guess. Now this video was made possible by Linode, who are giving you a $100 60-day credit just for signing up. Linode is essentially your Swiss Army knife for cloud computing. If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. One great feature of Linode is their app marketplace, which makes it super easy to spin up servers with pre-configured software. For example, use Linode's Pi-hole app to set up a DNS sinkhole that you can use to block ads across all your devices. And yeah, I do recognise the irony in promoting ad blocking within an actual ad. Linode can run almost anything by providing all the tools a developer really needs at competitive prices. Use the link in the description now to claim your free $100. As always, thanks for watching, and you know what to do, tickle that notification bell and follow me on the Instagrams for behind the scenes content, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.